3 days before our return to England, it was time to hit the road one last time. Exploring Alberta had been truly captivating, and it was a pleasure to live as honorary Canadians in the heart of Calgary suburbs. But unfortunately, the time had come to say goodbye. To Stampede City, to family, and to the dogs. Similar to the last road trip, we'd be driving to Point B over the span of 2 days. But unlike that road trip, we'd be taking the fastest possible route available to us. With only a couple of days left until we legally had to return the hire car, it was paramount that we reached Vancouver in good time. So what better highway for the job than the longest, most direct highway in Canada, the legendary Trans-Canada Highway. Starting with leg 1, we'd be driving from Calgary to the small town of Merritt, where the last motel of the trip awaited us. This would cover a whopping 700 kilometers, making it the longer leg by far. But this also meant there'd be much less time to stop and see the attractions. And with leg 2 being a near constant dash to return the car, this road trip was more of a grand finale tour of Canada's spectacular scenery. So with our suitcases loaded once more, we travelled onwards to Vancouver for one last road trip. 1 hour into the drive, we were back in Banff. The mountains were as breathtaking as ever, and by now we were practically suffocating. Passing by our favourite attractions, we looked back at some quality memories. Of all the national parks we'd been to, this was one of the best. But after passing Lake Louise, we were officially back in British Columbia, with our only stop just around the corner. After almost 3 hours of smooth sailing, we reached the town of Golden. Originally named Macmillan's Camp, Golden found its name after the residents wanted to outdo the neighbouring Silver City. The town was first established in 1882 as a base camp for the new Canadian Pacific Railway, and with the help of Swiss mountain guides, Golden was used to map out the surrounding mountains and provide a route through the Rockies. Who would have thought that 141 years later, we'd be using that route to get Dairy Queen? First ever Dairy Queen, Hannah, what do you think?
Pretty good.
I haven't tried mine yet, but I will maybe update this. It's got a nice selection of cakes too. I think we'll take 4. Okay, we're driving back to Vancouver and we've reached a lovely little local business with wolves. We're gonna meet some wild hounds, which is gonna be fun. We're in the town of Golden. It's not the most impressive town, I have to be honest, but they have a lot of attractions here and we need to stretch our legs. So, yeah, here we are. We spent about an hour admiring the fluffy killing machines, and we found the stop to be very relaxing overall. But now that our legs were sufficiently stretched, we got back to driving before entering Glacier National Park not long after. Finally out of the Rockies, we entered Canada's interior plateau, where the views became slightly less dramatic. At this point, we were cruising towards the end of leg 1, but as we began driving southwards, we came across a worrying sight. This year, like many years, was host to hundreds of wildfires in the forests of Canada. Over 8 million acres of land were hit, and we just happened to stumble into one of the most affected areas. The Bush Creek East fire swept this area mere days before we passed through, destroying 270 structures and evacuating 8,000 people. It wasn't until December when the fire was fully put out. This was the first time we'd seen the aftermath of such a disaster, and it was an eye-opening experience to say the least. Not long later, we grabbed a truly awful pair of dinners in the town of Kamloops, and after running out of daylight, we made a final push for the motel. was an extremely long drive. We're in the town of Merritt. We're all quite tired. The family's back in our hotel room eating the worst Vietnamese food of all time. Oh man, I think there's a bit of a supermoon going on at the moment. So I'll get a zoom in on that. Yeah, crazy. On the way here we also saw what looked like fire smoke in the distance, which was cool. Seems like a nice little town. I'm just taking a walk to the nearby convenience store. There's a much grander hotel neighbouring us. Got a water slide coming out the top there. That's interesting, I suppose. Supposedly this is a 3-minute walk to this petrol station. Unfortunately we are still in North America, so no sidewalks. Luckily it's night time, so all of the vicious car drivers are asleep. Having said that, there is one heading my direction. So yeah, just gonna pick up some water. And I think Rachel wanted a Twix. That's, yeah, great. Well, I've arrived at the convenience store and my hunt for water has come to an end because they're closed. There was a vending machine by the hotel which was also sold out. That's great, and my phone's on 4%, so I'm just gonna dash back to the hotel, get ready for the drive tomorrow. It was Saturday morning and the clock was ticking. Leg 1 had absolutely flown by, but leg 2 was about to go supersonic. The time for chilled out driving and peaceful rest stops was over. Now our focus turned to getting the hire car back by 12, and by 8 we were on the road for the final 3 hours of driving. Thankfully for us, the roads were still traffic-free, so really there wasn't much to panic about. With time to kill, we took a minute to look back on all the fond memories we made with this trip's hire car. From the minute we found it, all alone in that parking garage, we knew we'd made the right choice. Taking us through 3 US states, 2 Canadian provinces, and many, many mountains, this 2023 Chrysler Pacifica had truly earned our respect. It was a legendary 3,200 kilometers traveled, and this machine will be sorely missed. Now approaching Vancouver city limits, the end of the trip was looming. Our final stop was in sight, and none of us were prepared to leave. Remember you, Chrysler. And just like that, we've returned to Vancouver. We came back to a massive parade. The whole city came to greet us back to this city. It's 30-ish degrees. I'm wearing joggers, so not the best outfit choice. We're at the same hotel as before, the Blue Horizon. We're not in the best spirits, but car's returned. And now we've got like the rest of the day to walk around and reunite ourselves with this city. Here we are again. Returning to the hotel room, we concluded our trip back to Vancouver. It was a fairly relaxed drive with some of the best views of the trip, and despite the lack of pit stops, we had a pretty good time. Now with only one full day left before our flight home, we geared up for the final adventure. One last day in Vancouver.